afternoon and welcome to Conversations with Nancy J. And I'm your host, Nancy J. Lewis, and welcome to the show today. We talk to ordinary people doing extraordinary things. So we're glad you tuned in. It wasn't by accident. We know there's a word for you. There's something you need to hear today. So thank you for joining us today. What we do is Progressive Techniques Incorporated. We do a variety of things, but one of the things we do training and development in the area of diversity, inclusion, unconscious bias, leadership, communication, leadership, all those skills. People say soft skills. They're not soft skills. They are essential skills because you need them to survive. Then we do executive and business coaching. So we'd love to work with you, your organization. Our promise to you is that we develop better leaders, guaranteed. If you want to check us out, contact us. We'll be happy to work with you and show you our process. But today I'm here to talk with a wonderful young lady who's doing great things. I didn't know all the things she was doing, but she's doing a lot and has always done a lot. Natasha Davis, welcome.
Thank you so much, Nancy. It's always a joy and a pleasure to be in your company.
I mean, you continue to expand your territory, for lack of better terms, or God has expanded your territory because you're doing a lot more now than you were doing
5 years ago.
Yeah, and just your background, all the things, how God is evolving you, how things are just evolving for you. So tell people who you are and some of the things you're doing. We're just going to dive in because you have a lot of stuff.
Well, Natasha Davis, I am President and CEO of Impact Branding Consulting, and well as SaaS founder of the Profit Enhancer Analysis CRM software. And what I love to do is I like to help companies to streamline their day-to-day operations so that they are performing in the way that they have envisioned it. And so one of the things that I've been blessed to do is to uncomplicate those complex things. You know,
that's a big statement right there.
Yeah, uncomplicated because, you know, strategic planning, implementation, process improvement, productivity, those things can be so complex. And so I have been graced with the anointing to be able to help uncomplicate that, make it real easy, you know, because it's just, listen, it's hard sometimes and we just simplify it.
I like, you uncomplicate complicated stuff.
Yes.
So you have a software that does that?
Yep, we have a software.
You create it?
Created a software by the grace of God. He said he gave that to me because my background would not really denote something like that.
Yeah, because your background, tell me I want people to know that where you start may not be where you finish.
You know, that's a good point. So where I started is registered nurse, emergency room and trauma. Emergency room and trauma, did that for many years. And I got bit by the entrepreneurship bug, and I fought it off for a little bit because I was like, this is ridiculous. I went to school, a registered nurse, just stay there. And the bite would not let up. I mean, teeth were sunken in. And I then ventured out into entrepreneurship, stepped in that, and then realized that I wanted to do a lot more with my gifts. And so I evolved into an enterprise and built a company. And then from there, I've just been unfolding things that I would have never dreamed of. So, you know, this woman you see sitting here, as a young girl, knew she wanted to be a nurse. She wanted to take care of people. That's all I wanted to do. I wanted to save lives and take care of people. And today, the woman you see sitting here is not only saving lives, but I'm saving companies. And I'm so honored to be able to do that.
Amen. How God expanded your territory.
Totally.
Just not saving people, but saving companies.
Saving companies, literally saving companies. I have watched it unfold before my very eyes. You know, sometimes you step into things and you just think you're there. I'm just there. You're not realizing the true power and the impact that you have. And sometimes we downplay our power. Sometimes we downplay our appointment, our assignment. We downplay it as, I'm just doing my job. Well, that job is so much higher than what you really think of, right? And we do such great things. So I have been able to watch lives get saved, families get saved, companies get saved. I've seen CEOs that I encountered bawling.
Wow.
Because they're stuck and they don't know what else to do, and they're looking at their legacy getting ready to crumble. And for me to be chosen, to be placed at the right time, with the right talent, with the right heart. Come on now, with the right heart.
Yeah, because you gotta have, that's got to be in there too. Yes,
you gotta have the right heart. And then to be able to be gifted with the talents to see what others couldn't see, to do what others said they could do but could not do, and to remain humble with it.
Yeah, that's a big part because you're seeing even now, and I tell people I'm amazed. Being, you know, we know about emotional intelligence. I'm certified in emotional intelligence and all those good things.
Yes,
but what you're seeing a lot more now is a lot about empathy.
Yes.
humility. 10 years ago, they weren't talking about empathy.
Couldn't
You
care
weren't
less.
here. Humility, what? What is humility?
Couldn't care less. It was a sign of weakness.
But now there's to be a good leader.
Yes.
You have to have
it.
emotional intelligence. You need to have empathy. You need to have humility.
Exactly.
To own up to when you're wrong, when you mess up. You don't have to have all the answers.
Or ask for help. How about that? Ask for help. The worst thing that a company can do is to see that there's a problem. You know something's not wrong, but you refuse to ask for help and receive help. Like, to be so proud that you won't receive the help because you don't want to be seen as weak or incompetent or incapable.
So you much rather have the company fold?
The company will fold.
So,
and I have seen it where, unfortunately, I've encountered some individuals who held on to that pride so much and who held on to the ego so much, and they wouldn't receive the help
that was available. That
was
right
readily
there.
available. That was literally planted in their hands. And I most recently, it broke my heart, like tears to my eyes. The company went under about 8 months after we stopped working with them. They would not follow instructions. They would not implement. They would not do. They just kind of kept thinking what they were doing is fine, and we didn't need all that. We didn't need to do all that. That's not necessary. Or, you know what? I hear what you're saying, but let's do it my way. Okay, well, your way is not working.
But plus they brought you in.
Brought me in
to help out. So if we're hiring someone to come help us with something, why would I want to listen to you?
You know, that's a big challenge, though. I mean, that's one of the things that we deal with, right? And see, is people say, I want help. Yes. They get the help, but then they're trying to micromanage and orchestrate the direction of the help. Yet I'm the one that's certified, licensed, and hold the degrees. I'm the one that has been through it. I'm the one that's really, aside from all that, I'm the one on the outside looking in. I can see it. I can see your blind spot. I can come up here and see it. And it's one thing for someone to be afraid. That's different. It's another thing for someone to be egotistical.
Yeah, and we know the difference. And we know the difference.
We know the difference. I can sense it.
Yes.
I can hold you through your fear. I can move you from being timid and afraid to being confident and understanding, because I come with a clean heart, and I'm not coming to harm or to hurt or to take away. I'm not coming to hinder.
I want to help you.
I'm coming to help. I'm literally coming because, see, I'm accountable to a much higher power.
Amen.
And
God is looking to say, you didn't do what I told you to do. What?
You didn't do them right.
Right. Ooh.
Come on. You didn't do them right. There is a saying that it just was downloaded to me years ago. And it says, you will never be pacified by a check or a paid invoice. I said, okay, duly noted.
Oh.
Never.
That's good.
You can't pacify me with a check. You can't pacify me with a paid invoice, because if what we're doing is not in total alignment, then it will not get done. It's not going to get done. You can't pay me enough for me to be in alignment with foolery.
I go, foolishness, because sometimes people have a different agenda. They want certain things. But like a lot of people, one of the things we see a lot, that I've seen a lot working with a lot of my clients, and just holistically as I've talked to colleagues, is that there's a lack of accountability in the workplace.
Oh yes, a lot of that goes around. And oftentimes, you know, it comes from that whole pride thing. You know, it takes a lot to put a mirror in front of your face and look at it and say, you did not do that well. You knew you were not supposed to do that.
Right.
You did not answer correctly. You did not make a good decision. It takes a lot to look at a mirror and look at yourself and identify your areas of weakness. And see, that is not a bad thing.
No.
We have to identify our areas. What I say is, you know something? You need to capitalize on your strengths and strengthen your weaknesses.
Yes.
Now, how do you strengthen your weaknesses? Go get help. Even Jesus had help.
I mean, he had disciples. It's getting people. You can't be a master of everything.
You sure can't.
I mean, there are certain things I do well. There's certain things I don't do well.
Yeah.
So when that comes to that, I'm going to find that's your expertise.
Yeah. And I promise you, I will stay in my lane.
Oh, I've learned. You try to get in other lanes.
I mean, you have collisions and roadblocks.
And plus, sometimes when you're getting in lanes that God didn't call you to get in,
yes,
you're frustrated because you're having to spend time. Because I remember you're spending time and doing stuff that you didn't get called to do. But I remember early on in my career that, when you're a speaker, early on in your career, you speak on everything.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. What do you do? Everything.
Yeah. You speak on everything.
Can you speak on yes?
Yes. That's really what we do early on in your career, because you want the business.
You want a piece of everything.
And so you realize, I realized fairly, into the process, not a very long time, but certain topics I didn't like.
I didn't like, and I really wasn't equipped to speak on, because see, what I don't want to do is get caught off guard. You ask me a question, I'm like, yeah, that was a great question. Wheels are turning. How do I answer? How do I answer? And you're like, God, please give me an answer. And God's like, I didn't send you over there.
So you on your own. So
you on
your own. So you said, anybody in the audience, what do you think?
Right. I didn't send you over there. So you didn't ask me if it was okay for you to show up there. So clearly you didn't want my help. You didn't want my presence. You didn't want my guidance.
So you do it
so
on your
do
own.
it on your own.
And you learn that when you learn that, I tell people, so I tell people who sometimes are starting their career, I said, I know you want the business. I know you want people to know what you can do. I said, but do things that you enjoy doing.
Yeah.
Speak on topics that you have a passion for. Yeah, you can talk about different topics. You can Google them.
Yes.
You can get information, but your heart is out there. And I realized some topics I was speaking on earlier, I'm like, I don't
even like this, or this is not even something I'm really going to sink my teeth in. There is an understanding that we, as individuals and as leaders and as persons that's deployed into the universe to serve, right? We have to remember that we have all been given the platforms that we need to take our gifts and our talents and deploy them in the universe correctly. I don't need your platform. You don't need mine. We don't need theirs, right? We have been appointed with our own platforms to disseminate our talents into the universe correctly. What happened is,
well, they said, well, what happened was,
what happened was, see, we think God need our help. He didn't really mean for me not.
Right. So I'm gonna help just a little bit.
Let me help my creator. All right. Hello.
He's like, I created you.
Right. But let me help you out. Right. And so we have to remember to pump the brakes sometimes. We may feel like, oh, maybe I should do that, or maybe I should do this. And to be honest, in this society, we are prompted to step into do everything.
Yes.
Be on every single platform, do every single thing, every new trend, that. And I'm like, I don't have time. I don't have enough time in the day. And so one of the things I would say, even if anyone is like, one thing you could take away from today, if you only hear one thing I say, hear this. You only need to do what you have been appointed to do. The platform that you've been given is your platform. You don't need anyone else's platform. You don't need anyone else's justification or permission. Go do what you've been called to do. And don't discount small, powerful beginnings.
Ooh, that's a mouthful. And quit comparing yourself with other people.
Come on, we can't keep comparing
sometimes
ourselves.
We are, and I tell people, I understand.
Yes.
I get it. You're looking at social media and you're reading people's stories and you're saying, oh, wow, this person's doing that, they're doing that. How come? And again, sometimes you have to say, okay, what's the track God has called you to?
Yeah, because that wasn't your calling. See, that's where that imposter syndrome really showed up from. See, you need to stay off of social media. It's like you trolling, it's like
what you call a troll?
Comparing yourself to this person and that person, right? Like, Nancy can do it, I can do it too. But that's not your platform. That's not what you've been called to do, right? And so we all have to learn that the gifts that we've been given, we've already been assigned the platform in order for us to disseminate those gifts into the universe.
Amen.
Know your gifts and then go ahead and align with the designated platform, whatever that platform is. Maybe it's radio, maybe it's TV, maybe it's print publication. Maybe it's consulting, maybe it's coaching, maybe it's speaking, maybe it's serving in a company as the CEO, as a CMO, or as the secretary.
Yeah, wherever your place, just do where God places you.
Yeah.
Just be a good steward there.
Yes.
And I think that's something that people have to be mindful of, because social media it's a great thing. As entrepreneurs, we know we have to use some of it, but I tell people the one platform entrepreneurs must be on, I tell all of my clients, is LinkedIn.
Yeah.
As if you're on nothing else.
Oh, yes.
If you're on nothing else, I said, you must be on LinkedIn, because that is the business platform. Now, you see other stuff trickling in, but it's not like any of the other social media platforms.
It's not that much showboating
as
on LinkedIn. I mean, people, and I really appreciate LinkedIn for doing their best to curtail it from becoming this big showboat thing. Like, you can really go to LinkedIn and get quality connections, quality information. Every once in a while, you'll see some things, because some people will come from other platforms onto LinkedIn and they want to bring over that type of practice when it's not that setting. And so you just have to weed through it. But I do believe that quality networking is highly important.
Yes, it is.
And I really do believe that as a person in business, as a company, as a leader, you are supposed to let the universe know that you're here. You're supposed to let them know what your gifts and your talents are. You're not supposed to keep it and hoard it, you know, right? Don't keep it and hoard it.
Because nobody knows it. No one knows. It's like the talents.
Yeah.
You know, about the
Come
story
on
and the
now.
talents, like, you know, you get 10, you get
Got your
5, then you
and
get the
got your
1. And then
I need you to go and multiply. You need to sharpen it. You need to multiply it. But if you sit there and, you know, I said to my publicist, I said, let me explain something to you. I do not want to be the best kept secret. Okay?
I want people to know who I am.
I want people to know who God's child is. This daughter right here is coming.
That's why you hired a publicist, because you want her to help put you out there. You didn't. I didn't put you out here for you to put me under a rock.
No,
okay.
No, I am not here to be the best kept secret. No, thank you.
So you also do. I mean, you are involved with so many other things. I mean, one of the things you do well is you do the branding, and so talk to people about, because people, I think, clearly need to understand branding is something that's ongoing. You have to work on branding your company ongoing.
Yes. Well, and you know, a lot of people, unfortunately, have been ill-advised about what branding is, right? So here's the cliff notes, right? can we go into school?
Hey, go to school. Give them the school. Go to school.
Now. Okay. So branding has two sides, right? You have the strategic side and you have the creative side. Most people in small businesses only think about the creative side, and they neglect the strategic side. Hence, the creative side costs so much more money, and it ends up taking so much more time because there was no strategy put to place. Two sides. Branding has a strategic and a creative side. Now, here when I say to you, branding strategically should come before anything else. Because if I do not write the vision, make it plain. Come on now. Can we open the Bible?
Yes, we can open the Bible. We can open the Bible. And he says, write the vision, make it plain. Yes, he did. The Bible says that, yes.
He says you must write the vision and make it plain. And then he also said, let's back up a little bit and run up into Proverbs 21. He said, guess what? If you don't plan, you know where I'm going. If you don't plan carefully, you're running into poverty. All the hurry and the haste that you're into, I'm going to hurry up and put a post out. I'm going to hurry up and put an ad out. I'm going to hurry up, hurry. But you never stopped and planned it. He says you will run into straight poverty. But if you stop and you plan, that's surely where success will come. I didn't make this stuff up. He said it.
But it's like, where there's no vision, people perish.
You'll perish.
If you don't have a vision, it's going to perish. But the key thing is, in terms of your planning, like I tell people, a lot is being strategic with your planning. I tell people, if I show up or not, my stuff still comes out. Yes. I'm on Hootsuite.
Right. You have to be able to take what it is that you have right here and organize it before you deploy it. Otherwise, you'll just deploy it. It'll cost you more money. It'll cost more time. So branding is one of those things where, unfortunately, a lot of small businesses neglect the true essence of branding. All they see are logos and a website. Well, how can you put a website up if you never had a strategy on who you're talking to, who wants to hear you, what are you saying, how are you saying it, where are you going, right? It's like a map. If I don't really know where I'm going, how do I know to map my course there? I'm just
If you don't know where you're going, if you don't have a map to direct you, any road will get you there.
Any road,
because you don't know where you're going.
Because you don't know where you're going. You don't have an address. You don't have a point of destination. Nothing. You just aimlessly wandering, and that will cost you significantly way more money and time than anything. So I would say spend some time in strategy. A lot of times, small businesses don't respect strategy. I don't have these conversations with corporations and government agencies. They understand. I need strategy. Don't talk to me about implementing anything until we have a strategy, right? But then you come to a small business and they want to tell you, why do we need that? What do you mean, why do we need that? We have to have a plan. Well, I just want SEO. Well, you can't have SEO if you don't have a plan. Come on now.
But again, I think it's education, because people realize when you're an entrepreneur, I'm my own boss. I'm like, you know, I can do what I want to do. Yeah, you can. But will you be in business 5 years from now? Right.
That's a great question. And you know, truth be told, we're not our own boss.
No, because our boss is God.
Right.
He's the steward. We're just the ones he allows to do the day-to-day stuff.
We're not our own boss. So we say, I want to be my own boss. Well, technically, you're really not your own boss. And honestly, if you are your own boss, you're probably not a good boss anyway.
Because we have people who hire us, and people say, well, you can pick. I said, no, when you're an entrepreneur, even whether you're an employee for someone or you work for yourself, or
Right.
you're self-employed, as we call
Right.
it. I said, you still have a responsibility to your client. I said, but one thing you have to understand, all money is not good money.
It sure isn't.
And every client that comes to you
is not a good client. Come on. You know, you have to learn how to use the word no.
Yes, it's a full sentence. And sometimes be okay. It doesn't
I like
matter.
that. It's a full sentence.
Yeah. And be okay. You may need the money. But I've learned though, if there's drama on the onset when we're having discussions around what I can do and you're questioning my credentials, I'm like,
and my capabilities.
I'm like,
right?
this not a good thing. Let me find somebody else.
I'm gonna refer you out. You know, and like I say, the way things start is the way they typically will continue.
Yes.
It's the way they'll continue. So if you start with issues and drama, delays, questioning your credibility, questioning your capabilities, it's one thing to ask for verification of trust but verify.
Yes.
But it's another thing for someone to keep questioning your abilities, to literally refuting the recommendations you're putting on the table. It's like, why are we even doing this?
That's like, if I can get referred by XYZ person, I can be doing this for over 20 years.
Yeah.
And then this person, I've done lots of work with this person, referred you, and then you're questioning me. I'm like, I'm probably not a good fit for you. And I'm like, and I'm good with that. No, I'm like, no. Because I've learned that when you have stuff on the onset, if you persist and you go ahead,
you're gonna feel it. And we've all been there, haven't we?
Yes.
We've all accepted someone that we shouldn't have accepted. And we have to be careful, because as stewards, we have to be careful what we're doing with our talents. And we are not really in control of where we should deploy our stuff. We have to follow the order, right? And we have to follow the instructions. And though we may feel like I should be serving this person, if that's not what you've been called to do, you have to be okay to stand down. And again, be humble. Because it's not about you.
Right.
And like I said, you cannot be pacified by a check or a paid invoice.
But some people have to grow to that.
Yes, that is a growing process.
That is a process. I think sometimes you have to be careful who you align yourself with.
Oh, yes.
Because sometimes people that you're aligned with based on how they think, that sometimes can impact how you think.
And behave.
And
behave as well.
So it is critical. Who's part of you? I tell you whether it's you call it your tribe, your squad, whatever you want to call it.
Whatever.
It's like who's a part of it? Because sometimes you've outgrown people.
Significantly. And everyone that started with you is not necessarily designed to go with you.
To where you're going. And sometimes you got to be willing to leave people behind.
Yeah, leave them.
I still love you.
I still love you, but I got to go.
But where I'm headed,
you
know, when you know that you're an eagle, I tell people, we know we're eagles.
You like that eagle line.
You know, I tell people, I talk about when I do my events, I said, we're eagles here. I said, eagles only hang with other eagles. They don't hang with bluebirds and turkeys.
No,
they don't.
That means because I had to drop. Altitude, right? I had to drop my prestige. Right? I got to stay up here. So I believe, honestly, you know, we as individuals in business, one of the key things, I mean, we can talk about a bunch of different things, but I can honestly say on my journey, I have learned that it is not about me, and I really do have to be able to stand down and allow that space for my talents and gift to be deployed in the universe accurately. Because every time I try to get involved, it just gets all messy, right? And it's something that, you know, I grew into. I'm sure you had to grow into it. The first year we messed it up. 5 years in, we messed it up. And it wasn't until you got a good slap that you said, okay, wait a second.
I got this now.
You don't have to teach me that lesson again. I got this lesson. And so that's one of the things. But it is growth, it's maturity. And not necessarily mature in age. It just actually comes because if you've been in every year, by the grace of God, you get older. What we have to pray for is that we get that wisdom as we continue to age.
Amen.
Because I know people my age that are still thinking like they're back in their 20s or they're back in their first or second year in business. I've met people that have been in business 25, 30 years and they're still thinking like a 5-year-old in entrepreneurship. And it's like, you mean to tell me you haven't grown up from this? You haven't matured from this?
Because you weren't willing to invest in the business. So first of all, tell people how they can reach you, because I know they'll be on the screen, but tell them how they can reach you.
Absolutely. The quickest way to reach me is just go to my website, impactbrandingconsulting.org. That's impactbrandingconsulting.org. You can find me, you can connect with me socially, call me, email me. That's where I am. And you can learn more about who I am and what it is I do in this universe as well.
So take the next 2 minutes and just encourage someone who's watching today, who, you know, you have so much wisdom, so much things you've learned. Just take the next couple minutes and just encourage them with some information, some insight. Just talk to them.
You know, here's one thing I can say is, as a business owner, if you're sitting there thinking, you know, I've been doing this a long time, or I just got started, am I qualified? Am I equipped? Here's the thing I want you to be confident of. You have been called for this particular moment. You weren't called to be perfect. You were called to be obedient. And we will always make mistakes because we're human. But if we can just always go back to our Creator and say, God, what shall I do? Is this the right decision? Is this the right step? And always start your day with him and end it with him. Continue the day with him. You know, don't cut him out, you know, because you're having a good month. But keep in full alignment. You know, and I like to say, be in alignment with God's goals.
Amen.
Be in alignment with that.
Amen.
If you keep trying to go against it, it's just going to be more difficult. Because once you step into your place, things will occur with ease. And you know what he says? He's not the author of confusion, right? And so if he's not the author of confusion, then therefore when you make decisions and you're moving, it's going to be more easy. Don't be afraid to step out. Don't be afraid to invest in yourself and in your business. If you won't invest in your business, why would you ask or expect anyone else to? Right?
Amen.
So pour into you, pour into your business. Yes, you're going to make mistakes.
Yes.
But it's okay, because as long as you stay in total alignment, you will be able to recover and bounce back. And that's what I share with you. And that's what your chief visionary says. It's that chiefology.
That chiefology, okay.
Yes.
And I think you said something that's critical, is that you have to be willing to invest in yourself.
You have to.
And I tell people during the pandemic, during the height of it, I said,
Yes.
in 2020, I said, if you didn't learn something new,
Come on.
shame on you.
Come on. What were you doing for the past 18 months?
Because
in isolation with self and your spouse or your dog or your kids or whoever, you had to learn something new about you.
Or even skill sets. I said, there's stuff out there that's free. That you can get, I said, if you didn't learn some new skill, if you didn't learn some new tool, something. Maybe you learn how to cook or something, maybe you learn how to cook, I don't know. You didn't learn how to, if you didn't learn, I said, if you
learn how to cook, period. How to cook, period.
But if you didn't learn something new, I said, during that time, I said, in 2020, I said, shame on you.
Yeah. That was an opportunity. That was a growth opportunity for everyone. Not just some, but it was a growth opportunity for every single living, breathing person on this universe.
Yes.
And that was an opportunity that we should have all taken advantage of. So if you missed that opportunity, there's still time.
Yes.
Go ahead and find out what's better about me. How do I become better, stronger, more efficient, more effective? How do I take my gifts and deploy it into the universe?
Amen. That's a word. Ooh. We could go on. If we had more time, we could go on. There's so much we could talk about. But Natasha, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
On Conversations with Nancy J. You've given a lot of wonderful tools, nuggets for people to just think about it. And I know if you're watching the show today, you're not watching by accident. You needed to be here. So you heard something, whether you're a new entrepreneur, whether you're an in-between entrepreneur, whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur. The point is that you have to be willing to invest in you. Empathy, humility, the things we talk about, those are so important for us to be able to continue to build capacity and grow. So I just encourage you to take what you heard today and to apply it, deploy it into your life. So thank you again for tuning in to Conversations with Nancy J, where we talk to ordinary people doing extraordinary things. We'll see you back here next week, 12:30 p.m. God bless you.